Hi there and welcome to part 12 of my 100-day drawing challenge for 2019. This video has prompts 77 to 83 and let's just jump right into them. Prompt number 77 was robot. So last year I drew a pretty sort of generic robot, sort of android-esque person made of metal with like wires and stuff, and it was very grey and very boring, and I didn't want to do that this year. I've been trying to kind of apply these prompts to my style and to things that I like to draw as of late, because I feel like this challenge was really bothering me because I felt like the prompts didn't allow me to draw things that I felt like were my style or consistent, and I started to feel a little bit in the middle of this challenge, like I was posting these to Instagram and it just made my Instagram page look really like messy and all the colours were all over the place, and I really want to try and keep a consistent like colour scheme going on. So I decided from now on these prompts are going to be kind of in my style, the way that I want to draw them, even if that means bending the rules of the prompt word a little bit. And I feel like I could have done this from the beginning but just didn't. So I just feel a lot happier now and feel like I'm starting to enjoy these prompts a lot more and enjoy drawing them a lot more. So I think overall it was the right decision. So for robot, I decided to draw a cute robot girl type thing. I know that the definition of robot doesn't necessarily mean that they have to be humanoid, but that's what I draw, so that's how I applied this prompt. I went with all pastel colours because I love pastel colours and I use them all the time and I love it. It just mixed together all of the things that I love to draw. I love drawing cute clothes on characters, so I thought that that was the perfect thing to do in this situation, so I just went for it, went all out, and I coloured her in a kind of lilac colour with some pink details, and then gave her clothes kind of a peachy pink and blue colour scheme, and then did the background blue with a little bit of bright pink here and there too, just to kind of tie it all together, and I think it ended up looking really cute. This one isn't my absolute favourite. I feel like the background leaves a lot to be desired. I do really like the character, but her pose is really simple and really closed up, so I think there's ways that I could have improved this, but overall I'm not disappointed with it. I do think that it turned out adorable. Number 78 was Fizzy Watermelon. This one was one of my favourites last year and was one of my favourites again this year. So these are inspired by those like old kind of retro sweets. I don't know whether anybody is familiar with them or where in the world has these, but as a child I would always see these little watermelon sweets in like pick-a-mix, and they were like a little bit fizzy and they had that like sugar coating on them, and I just love them aesthetically. I don't think they're the most tasty candy out there. They're not my favourite, but I do find them incredibly aesthetically pleasing for whatever reason. So when I wrote this prompt list last year, I decided that was going to be a prompt because I wanted to humanize and like create a kind of character out of this aesthetically pleasing candy. So I did that again this year and just kind of tried to improve on my character from last year. I liked last year's character and I'm actually amazed at how much I managed to kind of amp it up a little bit and improve upon it. But I'm really proud of this drawing. So I gave her a very similar outfit to last year and a similar kind of pose. I did change a couple of things. So last year I kept her skin like really pale, pretty much the same colour as the paper, so I did brighten it up a little bit and give her a bit more of a kind of pinky skin tone, just because I felt like last year it looked very plain and it's very difficult to add any kind of depth or shading if you're keeping the skin white like the page. So I did add a little bit of colour here and there just to brighten it up. I made her hair longer and added some green streaks in and a little bit of extra green there, just to add some green up to the top of the image, because the overall colour scheme was just red and green, so I wanted to add red and green to as many elements as possible. I used a brighter green. Last year the green is kind of a more minty, paler green, but I went with brighter just because I just wanted to brighten the image up. I gave her pretty much the same skirt because I think it's super cute, and the same little boots. I just shaded them a little bit better and just added a little bit more depth in there, because last year it does look like I just used one red colour for the whole image, and even though it's kind of nice in its simplicity, I did like adding a little bit more depth and a bit more interest in this year's. So yeah, overall I really like this one. I think it's super cute. Again, I added all of them white little dots all over to indicate the like sugar coating. I added a lot more this year because I felt like it was a little bit lackluster in last year's illustration. I just wanted to add as much as possible, amp it up as much as possible. So yeah, I like this one. It turned out really cute. Prompt number 79 was 1920s. So this one is not one of my favourites, I'll admit. It was a little bit uninspired. I wasn't really sure what to draw for this one. I went with kind of a similar idea and a similar design to the character that I drew last year. I just tried to make it a little bit better and add a little bit more depth, because last year, I really like my illustration from last year, but it just looked very flat. There was hardly any shading going on. It was a little bit boring, so I just wanted to kind of recreate that image and improve it, and I'm not sure whether I 100% achieved that, because this one to me still feels a little bit boring and a little bit flat. I feel like there's a lot of things I could have done to improve this instead of what I ended up doing, but you know, they can't all be winners, I suppose. I don't hate it. I think, you know, technically, like, I like the way the hands look. I do like the face. I think there's a very specific shape to like 1920s makeup, like especially the eyebrow shape and the kind of dark shading around the eyes and stuff. So I tried to kind of create that in my style, so I'm not sure whether that translates very well, but I did try and, you know, use reference images to kind of give this a level of accuracy as much as I can while still keeping it in my art style. But yeah, I just think this one didn't turn out quite as interesting as it could have. Prompt number 80 was juggling. So this one, I wasn't sure what to draw. I was struggling a little bit to be inspired for this one. I couldn't really figure out a theme for the image or a colour scheme or what kind of character I was going to draw. The prompt juggling really didn't conjure up too many images in my mind. I was like, I don't really know what to do for this one. So I decided to just kind of mix it with another theme and another prompt, just so that I would have some kind of direction to go with it. So I haven't drawn a mermaid in a while. I just kind of felt like it on this particular day, so that's what I went with. I decided to draw a little mermaid and have her juggling with seashells because I thought it would be super cute. So for this one I kind of stuck with a blue and a green-ish colour scheme with a little bit of orange and pink thrown in. I've drawn a lot of mermaids and I always think it's really fun, and I do try to make them all different and use different colour schemes and give them different outfits and hairstyles and stuff. I think it's really fun to kind of design them, so I went with something a bit different with this one, and I gave her kind of greenish hair with a little bit of sort of yellow to highlight it and a little bit of blue to shade it, just to kind of make it a little bit different and give it a little bit of depth. And I had her juggling seashells, which I think is so cute, and I coloured the little seashells kind of multicoloured, almost rainbow-like, just to make them a little bit more whimsical, rather than them being really realistic seashells, which I think are quite neutral colours. And I just think it turned out sweet and whimsical. I had a little bit of washi tape that I wanted to use for this one too. I have some purple tape with some kind of like scales on, so I thought that would be perfect for a mermaid. I just used it a little bit in the background rather than actually using it in the image. And yeah, I don't have too much else to say about this one. I just think it turned out really cute. And I think it really helped me to just find something to draw for that juggling prompt, because I really didn't know what to draw for it. So I'm glad I just came up with a kind of alternative, different idea to do for this one. Prompt number 81 was a bit of a weird one. So last year, kind of similarly to some of the prompts we've seen throughout this challenge that I wrote last year, we have a couple that are to use a random number generator and mix together those prompts. We had that prompt that was to look through an art book and try and draw one of the images from memory. So this one was kind of similar to that in that it was to like flip through multiple art books and like pick certain pages and use elements from those pages and to mix that all together to create a character and draw someone who had like a certain hairstyle picked from one page and an outfit picked from another page and that kind of thing. I just kind of couldn't be bothered. I don't really use those kind of art books anymore like I used to, and I don't really like showing them on camera either. I don't know why, but it just feels like wrong for me to copy someone else's design and try and use it in my own artwork. It just feels like kind of like plagiarizing their ideas. I don't know. I just didn't feel right with this one. And I also just kind of couldn't be bothered to like dig out an old how to draw book and like flip through it and like try and find a way to film it, because my setup at the moment for this 100-day drawing challenge just kind of stays up. I don't really like move my camera essentially because I need to film all these from the same view. So it just kind of felt like a lot of extra work for an illustration that probably wasn't going to turn out looking very good. So instead, on this day, I just decided to make a new character of my own and just draw something that I wanted to draw. So I apologise for not following the prompt list exactly, but you know, sometimes you just gotta break the rules, and that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to create a new original character. I just wanted to create a cute design, draw a cute character, so that's exactly what I did. I had a lot of fun, and that's all that really matters, in my opinion. You know, this challenge has been really stressful, and I'm just glad that every now and then I can just draw something cute that I want to draw. Prompt number 82 was Forest Spirit, so last year when I did this prompt, I didn't end up finishing it. This was one of the ones that ended up staying as just a pencil sketch. We're getting into the part of the challenge now where last year I started to give up a little bit and a lot of these were unfinished or just not done at all. So I'm really excited to actually finally finish these prompts, and I'm so determined to actually finish this challenge this year. So this was one of the ones that didn't end up getting finished last year, so I was excited to finish it. So what kind of pops into my mind when I think a sort of forest spirit is kind of like maybe a little fairy nymph type character who has the ability to kind of create little naturey things. You know, that's kind of what I ended up thinking of. So this is, in a way, kind of a similar train of thought to my Earth prompt from quite a while back now, one of the first videos in this challenge. I gave her kind of curly hair with little flowers in, and had her kind of interacting with the background a little bit. So again, I went with a circle in the background, as I like to do with these prompts, and just had her kind of creating little flowers and stuff that I then used for the border around the edge. I used a lot of greens for this one, kind of greeny tones, so I used a really pale green for the background and then darker greens to kind of shade her hair and her outfit, just to kind of fit with the forest idea. But yeah, I don't have too much else to say about this one, and I don't want this video to end up being too long, so... And finally for this video, prompt number 83 was bubblegum. So for bubblegum, what I instantly think of is bright pink and bright blue, so that's the colour scheme that I went with. I also, again, was really inspired by my drawing from last year. I know I do this a lot in this challenge, just kind of try and improve on whatever it was that I ended up drawing last year, and I think it turned out really well this time. I really like my character from last year. I think she's really cute. The colour scheme was really cute, so I went with a kind of similar idea but just tried to improve upon it as much as possible. So I gave her really similar clothes and similar hair. I made her hair a little bit longer just because I like drawing kind of as much hair as possible, just because it adds a lot more detail and interest, I think, to the character. I gave her a really similar outfit, so I gave her that kind of blue t-shirt and the bright pink skirt. I did make the shape of the skirt a little bit more concise and a bit better this year, and gave her really similar shoes too. The pose is really similar, although I tried to, again, just make it a bit more concise this year, and I drew 2 circles in the background, which I ended up colouring one pink and one blue. Just to kind of give her something to sit on so that she's not kind of floating in space. She's still kind of floating in space, I guess, because she's kind of sitting on a circle of some description, but just to kind of have her interacting with the background a little bit rather than floating in nothingness. And yeah, I think this one turned out really cute. I really like the colouring and how I really tried to tie the whole colour scheme together, so there's a lot of outlining in bright pink and a lot of shading with pink. I gave her pink skin again this year, just again to tie that colour scheme together as much as possible. The actual like bubble of bubblegum that she's blowing ended up really pale in the beginning, so I think it's towards the end of this illustration where I really darken it up with a pencil just to make it a bit more clear. And by clear, I mean distinctive, not more transparent. I made it less transparent. And yeah, I just had a lot of fun giving this one a lot of pink shading and a lot of sparkles and little bubbles and stuff around. This one was really fun. I just love blue and pink colour schemes, so I could really just have a lot of fun with this one. And I think that she turned out super cute. Very cartoony. I really made the shapes very round, very cartoony, that kind of thing. But I think it really works for this prompt, and I had a lot of fun with it. So that is all of the prompts for this week. We haven't got that many left. Just a couple of weeks to go. And it won't be too long before I end up drawing a bunch of Christmas prompts, which I'm really looking forward to. I just think it's going to be really cute. I'm so excited. But I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit because next week the prompts are not Christmas themed yet. We have another week of just random prompts. But a few of them are really exciting, so I'm really excited to delve into those and see what I can do. And for this next week still, I'm going to try and keep all of the prompts very much in my style, using a lot of pastel colours, a lot of cute colours, cute themes, stuff like that. Like I said, it was really getting me down and really bothering me that my Instagram page was so much of a mishmash of colours and nothing really followed a clear style or a clear theme or a clear colour scheme or anything like that. And I don't know, I think it is good to be versatile, but at the same time it's nice to have a clear style as an artist, and it was bothering me that I didn't have a clear style and that I was drawing so many different things in so many different colours. Like, I did those 4 seasons prompts where spring was really pastel, summer was really bright, autumn was really like neutral colours, a lot of browns and oranges and stuff. Winter was very pale, very cool toned, and then not long after that I think I jumped into Halloween prompts, and so there was a lot of black and bright orange, and then I kind of tried to go back to pastels and it didn't quite work. I don't know, there was just a lot going on, and it was getting me down a little bit. So in the next week I'm going to try and stick to what I like to draw, what I enjoy drawing, and keep it in colour schemes that I enjoy. And then I am gonna have to stray from that a little bit with my Christmas prompts because I want them to be really Christmassy. And then after the challenge is over, I'll go right back to the kind of art that I was drawing before the challenge, which I'm really excited for. But regardless, I have gone on and on so much about stuff that you probably don't care about. I apologise. That is all for this week. Thank you so much. If you actually watched this far, I very much appreciate it. And goodbye.